Indeed. And greetings upon you, beloved and holy friend. Thank you so much for joining me here again today. Goodness, I cannot tell you how much I appreciate you, Brother Ryan. Thank you, beloved brother. I appreciate you. Day 441, feeling guilty for having fun. What am I supposed to be a nun? I don't know if it's like that, but basically the gist of it. Thank you for joining me, friends. I want to talk guilt, about guilt today, about guilt in the context of lower vibrational frequency, of living, guilt in the context of doing things that might feel out of alignment, guilt in the context of the things that we want to be doing, the things that we enjoy in life, and how we kind of rob ourselves of them, believing that that is, you know, more divine than less divine, if you will. Like it kind of came from yesterday's classes. We were going through the chakras, and you know what? I'll share more in a bit. Want to say hi to all of you friends, brother Isaac. Thank you for joining me, Shannon. Thank you for joining me, friend Lisa. I appreciate you, friend, so much. I tried to set up the bot today. It does not work. It does not work, and I think it might be something to do with my account. Like if I get notifications, if you tag me, for example, like you/Meltmore in someone else's stream, and I see that little tag and I click on it, it doesn't take me to the stream. My other account, all my other accounts, my other account, the Beetlejuice account, that one works. And apparently, I checked on my siblings' phones as well. Their Reddit account also works. But for some reason, my Meltmore account, even on my other phone, I cannot click those links anymore. And for some reason, my mind is trying to attach the fact that I cannot have this bot working to that. And I tried. I tried for like an hour. I woke up first thing this morning. I'm like, I'm gonna freaking do this. I remember Lisa saying to me yesterday that she's having a hard time getting into stream. Was it Heather? And like, I'm gonna do it. Hey you, Candace, thank you for joining me, friends. I'm no. I wanted to say I'm sorry. Thank you for bearing with me in the darkness today. I tried to put a light on. It has been raining. Like as you can see, it hasn't stopped being overcast in the last 3 days. Pretty much, constant overcast. The temperature is kind of nice. It has been raining on and off occasionally. Everything is wet, very wet. And I'm very excited about it as well because winter is definitely coming. You can see the temperature dropping over the next few days as well. I think all of the plants are happy. Happy to be here with you, friends. Hello, Estian. Hello, friends. So happy to be here today. I hope everyone is doing well. I hope you're doing well, Shannon. How have you been, friend? How have you been treating yourself? How's life been treating you? Please do tell. Lisa, Shannon, hey, Mel family. Namaste. To you as well, Lisa. Thank you. I'm excited for this topic. I find myself guilting myself all the time for taking time to play games or smoke weed and chill, even though I definitely earned that time. Glad to be here to gain insight. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining me in this space today, Isaac. I genuinely want to talk about this topic. I feel it's something that we genuinely, hurt ourselves with so much because we get in our own way. Like as you're saying, you guilt yourself for doing something as arbitrary as human, as playing games, as smoking weed, as, eating out of your diet, if you will. And I definitely want to talk about that. In pure spirit, you are unbounded and without form, but you are not without consciousness. It's from pure thought that creation springs into being. I don't feel like those are perfectly resonating with today's message, but still, I can still draw some information from that in the context of we are already in pure spirit. No matter what it is we're doing, you cannot escape pure spirit. And we came here as pure spirit to have this human experience. Yesterday, as I said, we were going through these understandings of chakras. And I do consider myself to be pretty rooted. But as we were going through the topic, I kind of, was referencing with inside of myself this feeling, this understanding of almost going through my entire chakra, system again. Like I've been through it and I reached, this point of resonating with my third eye and my crown chakra. And then after I achieved that, I started all over again, re-strengthening my root, my stability, and now I'm building back up. And we did this test, I guess you can call it, basically something that asks you a bunch of questions related to the different chakras, and then you get scores. And the score that was the lowest, for me at least, was the sacral. And the things we were talking about, the prompt she was giving us to think about over and over and over again, kind of showed me how there are all of these things attached to my sacral that I'm holding on to and that's hurting me. One of them being guilt. One of them believing that there's scarcity, not having enough, not having enough money, not having enough, whatever it is, I don't feel I have enough of. And the last thing was relationships. I'm going on my 4th year of being single. This July is going to be 4 years of being single. And there has been this tension inside of me about all of these things, about the guilt I have around certain food choices. Like I've been fasting, I fasted up until last night, and as we were talking about this guilt, Flossie, my teacher, was talking about how she's here to have the cookies and milk as well, to have those experiences of pleasure, genuine pleasure, just by eating something. And how by attaching this guilt, and you can like attach, whatever you want to, be it sex, be it, smoking weed, be it playing game, if that is a pleasurable experience, and after having that pleasurable experience, you kind of overlay it with guilt, you're basically ruining it for yourself. It's like getting yourself a nice scoop of ice cream and then, getting some blended dog poop and then swirling it over it. It might look like it makes sense, but no, stop. Why do we do that to ourselves? Why do I do that to myself? And just listening to her talking about how we have these feelings of guilt attached to the things that we enjoy, and how we ruin these things for ourselves almost preemptively, taking them away from ourselves, that is not the way to continue forward. And instead of doing that, all we have to do is gain some balance. And I feel like that is the thing that I would like to say to you as well, the insight I would like to share, Isaac. And you know this, I know you friends know this. I'm not sharing things because I don't think you know. I'm sharing things because we do know. We just have to remind ourselves sometimes. It's just balance. It's okay to smoke some weed. It's okay to break your fast. I broke my fast last night. I had some of that freaking lasagna. I had some of that lasagna and it was glorious. It was absolutely fantastic. But now I'm back fasting. I'm going to finish the fast until Sunday. At least I want to. And allowing myself, genuinely allowing myself to be in that moment and here with you friends, to share the fact that I've faltered, the fact that I've, not been able to stay strong. And the funny thing is as well, directly after talking about the sacral, talking about these feelings of pleasure, having like the sacral means sensitivity. Literally being sensitive to this reality, being sensitive to the enjoyment you can gain from weed, the enjoyment you can gain from games, from something that you're eating, and that sensitivity is what makes us so beautiful. It's what makes us so beautifully. What's the word exactly I'm looking for? Enthralled, in this experience. And if we didn't have that sensitivity, we wouldn't be so present in this space. And she said something that really resonated with me as well. We are envied. Our ability to feel is envied. Like we have such a capacity as human beings to experience emotion, and we take that for granted. And by kind of like taking into consideration how we form our own emotions, how we can have a pleasurable experience and then attach a guilt feeling, which I believe is lower resonating. Like there's this little chart of different emotions and different states of existence and where they find themselves on a frequency level. And guilt is right down there, fear is right down there, anger is right down there. And you can have a joyful, pleasurable experience without attaching that guilt to it, but in balance, and that's something I'm really trying to find in my own life as well. I feel I don't have balance. And I'm willing to admit that to myself. I do not know how to maintain proper balance sometimes. Like oh, I don't know if there is the right partner for me there outside in the world. Let me just not think about partners for 4 years. And yeah, I've said this to you, friends. I'm willing to go into my 30s not having a relationship again. Why? Why am I so crazy, dude? Why do I attach? I don't know if it's guilt even. I don't even know if it's guilt. Maybe it's fear. Here. Just taking into consideration our sacral, the part of us that's emotional, the part of us that feels, the part of us that is so sensitive to this experience. And instead of hurting ourselves because of our sensitivity, to embrace our own sensitivity, man, I'm trying to find that balance. I guess I'm still a student. I'm still learning, as we all are at the end of the day. Guilt for having fun only happens when Teddy and I get a date night, which happens like once or twice a year, and I'm like, yes, we get to do grown-up stuff. All the while, I'm sad and I miss my girls. Oh no, I'm so sorry to hear that. I I get where you're coming from, but again, Candace, that's the experience you're creating for yourself. You deserve, without a doubt, you deserve to have some fun. You deserve to have a moment away from your kids as well, to do adult stuff, if you will, to be with your husband, to enjoy that space. It's about balance, and you have good balance. You're a mom, like technically, you have bad balance. You're a good mom for 99.99% of the time. So by taking that 0.1% for yourself, you're not making yourself a bad mom. You shouldn't be feeling guilty, and yet we do that to ourselves. I'm trying. I'm genuinely in this space with you, friends, today, trying to find an answer. I'm asking I'm asking, please, please give me an answer. How do I maintain better balance? How do I convince myself I have balance? Is it a percentage thing? That's where my mind goes. And I was like, yeah, numbers. Look at the numbers. You didn't eat for 4 days, and then you had one meal. That's pretty good balance. You don't have to feel guilty. Well, how are we supposed to figure? Talk about them, and they would think it's cool or fun as we were out and having fun. I mean, they're having fun as well, ceaselessly. They're little divine creatures of their own, experiencing their own experience. It doesn't collapse into a less full experience when we're no longer there, but it might be more expansive when we are. So know that you're a good mom, Candace. I know it, you know. I love you so much, my friend. Oh, Jovan, I get up without an alarm clock today. Ooh, yoga with no direction to Ryan Melt, Lisa Isaac, and other Meltians. Meltians! Mmm. That's the first time, Jovan. Meltians. I do like that. I'm not going to lie. Meltians. My mind is like, yes. So as I'm saying the word Meltians, like my mind goes to aliens, right? First. That's where my mind goes first. So aliens, but Meltians. And then upon thinking aliens, I'm like imagining what would these aliens look like if we are the Meltians coming to Earth, to melt, if you will. What would we look like in our alien form, our astral form? I'm like imagining this being that has so much creative force, that everything it thinks, everything it wants to create, basically becomes a layer within inside of itself. And then because it kind of like keeps a certain shape, a certain form, every layer that it takes within inside of itself has to shed a layer outside of itself. And then, creation inside, and then a layer of outside kind of melts away. And you can see what was created on the inside, however many years, decades, infinities ago, the outside layer was created on the inside, and how it has influenced the creation of the inside now by referencing how you look out on your outside. I don't know if this is making sense, but thank you. Thank you, Jovan, for giving me such a beautiful visual. Hey, it's Cartha! Goodness, friend. How long has it been? What is good, my friend? Everything. Everything is good. Everything is good. but in balance. How about you, friend? How are you? Do tell. Meltians, y'all are in my life in a moment of active growth. Thank yous for contributing to a pretty world. Thank you, my fellow Meltian. I appreciate you so much, Jovan. Yes, you're amazing, genuinely. Oh my goodness, I almost forgot. It's a boy! It's a boy, Candace! It's a boy! I love you so much, friend. We're still excited with you. New work schedule got me all weird. How are you? I'm starting to microdose soon to help with my mentality. Hopefully, it is a good journey. I think it will help. Friend, I know it will help because you're thinking it will help. You thinking something will help is what helps, you know? And you can placebo affect yourself with sugar pills as well and be like, yes, I'm taking these sugar pills and they're giving me a little bit of dopamine every single time I take that dopamine, and then that dopamine gets associated with, a reward, and then I'm gonna sit down and do this thing because I want to reward myself with, or I want to reward my future self. And you can literally placebo yourself into a better life just by taking sugar, like a sugar pill. You can do the same with microdoses. Take them with intention. So that's the only thing I would like to say to you, Kartha. I can already see you have this intention to grow, you have this intention to get better. So as you take them, look at that little pill, or if you're gonna take a little scoop or whatever, tell yourself, I'm taking this with the intention to X. I'm taking this with the intention to be present. I'm taking this with the intention to be creative. I'm taking this with the intention to be loving towards myself and towards others. And just by saying that to yourself as you're ingesting this thing, you're placeboing yourself as well, actively influencing your epigenetic code. Go and get it. Go and get it, Kartha. I believe in you, friend. I have a big inspiration for me lately, so back at you, friend. Thank you so much, Isaac, for sharing the love, friend. Let's get it. Let's get it. Hey, it's Carmelia. Goodness, friend. I missed you. I was actually thinking about you yesterday, day before yesterday. I was thinking about you and your daughters, and this the situation that you kind of sprinkled a little bit that was happening. How was things been progressing? I'm curious. Melt, I put bot instruction in your Discord server. What? Thank you, Michelle. Thank you. Beloved friend, I appreciate your help so much. Thank you for joining us as well. Friend, we're building each other up. Love is true. Love is true. Oh, goodness, is love true? I set up in a new space for yoga, and I'm starting to make a work of art. It's gonna take me some time, but I think I'm gonna stream some of me making it tomorrow. Yes, English words. Yeah. Okay. I've put in all of this work into baking a cake for myself. I grew the ingredients, put in the time, and didn't overindulge. Now it's time to drizzle it with vinegar slowly before I eat it to make sure I ruin my experience. That's guilt. Isaac, I don't know if I mentioned the ice cream scoop and pureed dog food thing first, but you're so right. That is exactly what guilt is. Is you spend all of this time taking care, right? I spend this time fasting. I spend this time exercising. I spend this time following a diet. And then because I have a craving, because I want a pleasurable experience, I have that. And now I guilt myself, like literally ruining the very thing that I've been working to actually have. Why do we do that? Like I'm really asking, is it separation? Is it just separation mentality? Where it's like, oh yes, this pleasurable experience, you don't deserve pleasurable experiences. All you deserve is suffering. Shut the fuck up. I'll post a picture of our new place Monday. We are going to our land and building the foundation for the tent. Please, 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 please do share us some photos. I would love to see as well, Candace. You must be so excited, friend. It's gonna be some work, I'm guessing. And you plan on building your own house as well while you're living from the tent, right? You want to build like a mini castle, is what you mentioned. How exactly do you want to do that? And are you and Teddy going to do that, by yourselves? And if you're going to do it by yourselves, would you consider creating content alongside that? I mean, I would like to tune in to people building a castle out of a tent. That sounds like the most lit thing ever. With 4 daughters and a boy coming along as well. Yes, we will made it of Yes, it will be made of cobblestone, I'm guessing. That sounds amazing. I forgot about your fast until I saw you dancing yesterday, but that was a good dose of neurochemical reaction. That was the thing as well, Natalie. After yesterday's dance, I got wrecked. I got so wrecked because I had a coffee and then I went and danced. And you know, when you're drinking coffee, you're basically so the way that I think of this is almost like you have this energy storage within inside of yourself, and different things can allow you to access that energy. But the thing is, your body might not have anticipated that that energy would be used in that way. So I danced like the crazy person I am, with the amount of ferocity that I do. I got erect, you know, I got completely, you know, sweaty and like out of breath, and I sucked like, so much energy out of myself that I felt like I was weak, you know. That is that specifically, like I was weak, and that kind of caused me to have these feelings of, oh, I want to eat something, pretty much directly after I danced. I was like, dude, I could really go for really go for something to eat right now. Didn't, because I was like, you're gonna feel guilty if you do that. You are gonna be guilty if you do that. Then I have this, you know, session. I have this lesson with Flossie, my yoga teacher, and she basically goes into guilt, goes into the sacral chakra, and me noticing that my sacral chakra is the most underrepresented part of myself. I just feel like these little puzzle pieces clipping into one another. Mm, that sounds like a good sitcom, right? I think it would be one forecast, four kids, five kids technically, five kids, one castle. Man, like that would be fire, absolute fire. Potential sitcom name: Building the Castle, because Viking Queen. I think it would be good. I genuinely think it would be so freaking cool. I never apologize for enjoying this short little nugget of my current form. Why would I? I refuse to take life so serious. You can get shit done and still have a blast doing it. If it doesn't serve me, it's not getting my time. Such beautiful words, Eden. I couldn't agree more. I genuinely couldn't agree more. You know, I'm dealing with a bunch of stuff as well. Like a part of me would love to only eat fruits, right? Only eat fruits and get my protein with like lentil soup or whatever. But, but then I have this sense of guilt, sense of resistance still. Like right now, I'm eating leftovers, and I kind of pride myself on that because food does go bad, right, in the fridge. You know, you leave it for too long and it goes bad. And instead of allowing that to happen, I'm the one eating all of these leftovers, and no food ever goes to waste in the house. And there's this part of me that's like, yeah, um, I'm playing my role. I'm not pulling resources that would be, you know, distributed otherwise. I am utilizing the resources that are available. And I feel very content in doing that. And I was showering, thinking about that today as well. And I was like, when I'm living by myself and I have to buy food for myself and I have the actual financial means to do so, I will start to eat the diet that I want to. But for the time being, I'm not going to guilt myself for eating the way that I am. You know, and I'm still, you know, cutting out certain things like vegetable oils in my daily diet, and that has been serving me a lot, and I won't change that. But, but I'm not going to feel guilty for doing things the way I'm doing them right now because this is the circumstances I've been given, right? I'm here now in this moment. Why would I guilt myself about that? Is guilting myself gonna help? Maybe that's the thing we should ask ourselves. Maybe that's the way we can really find balance. Is as soon as we have this sense of guilt of inside of ourselves, to ask ourselves, does this serve me? You know? Like, oh, I'm feeling guilty. Why? Does it serve me? Can I learn something from it? And I was spending some time thinking that guilt could be a message that something might need to change. And then while I was thinking that, I was thinking about myself as a young boy, like about 8 years old. My mom was already baking at that point, and we would have these bags, you know, literal bags, like a bag full of these small little what we call soot cookies, like sweet cookies, and they would be a little bit brown, which means they were extra oxidated. And now knowing that, I'm like, and I would just go like round after round after round, getting handfuls of these cookies, and I would feel bad. I would feel so guilty for doing that. And I was like thinking about it in the context of my body telling me, hey, bruh, you don't have balance, oh? You're doing something wrong. You're poisoning yourself right now. But because it tastes good, I didn't really think about it in that way. So I'm really like I have a bunch of stuff coming to me right now, melting all over the place. And it's so interesting. It's so interesting how we ruin experiences for ourselves and how we might, use that guilt as something that could be a means to benefit as well. But only if we ask ourselves, Hermes Blur, only if we ask ourselves, can I benefit from this? Is it serving me? Is the guilt I'm feeling right now serving me? Is it trying to make me aware of something, or is it trying to take me away from something? If it's the taking away from something that you're experiencing, that is separation consciousness, of course. But if it's trying to show you something, if it's trying to like educate you about something, it could be unity. And I think now, if I had the knowledge I have right now, especially about my food choices, I would have understood, at least in my opinion, a little bit more of why I was feeling the way I did. And I was overweight. Oh goodness. I mean, I weighed at like 200 pounds. No, 220 pounds. I do believe that's how it works. 220 pounds as a 16-year-old. I still have the stretch marks for it because I didn't have any balance. I did not have any balance. And I feel maybe that's what we should use our guilt for. Instead of guilting ourselves to make ourselves aware that we do have balance. Or if we don't have balance, to try and adjust for that. The problem I've had is that the way of thinking trying to follow the guilt. But when I do, I find myself just going in circles of, oh, I don't do that, this is that, I don't do this, that's bad, or I do deserve this. I work hard. That's the thing I'm doing as well. You can probably see it in me, Isaac, because I'm like, yeah, but how about, but how about, the infinity just keeps going. It drives me crazy because instead I just do nothing and I feel bad rather than doing something else or just following through and enjoying it. Exactly that. Exactly that. Is it trying to educate you about something or is it trying to take you away from something? And I feel if we can ask ourselves that question genuinely, like if you're playing games, for example, and you're feeling guilty for that, is it trying to take you away from that experience? Trying to take away the joy you get from that experience? Trying to create some sense of separation from that? Or is it trying to tell you that you're supposed to be doing something else? And it's balance. Oh goodness. Oh man. Tripping out, dude. What the hell? I feel like talking about this even. My sacral is like, how about this? How about this? How about this? So, like, basically, one of the things we learned yesterday with the chakras is that they're supposed to be in a pulsating flow, like receiving and giving and receiving and giving. Where if you hold on to something, it cannot flow, and if you're completely open to something, it also cannot flow. It has to kind of have this movement to it. I'm working on making choices that have been my way of getting rid of guilt. I decide and I don't look back. Yeah, there we go. Why is he giving such good advice? I decide and then I don't look back. And the way I can look and see, maybe I've said yes a lot, I've said no today, rather than wonder. What amazing advice that is. Thank you. Thank you, Isaac. Brother Bear, you're teaching me today to feel proud, to stand by a choice, to be like, okay, I'm gonna spend X amount of hours playing some games. And then you do that. And then because you've decided that that's the way it's gonna be, you do not question it. You do not allow yourself to feel guilty about it because this is my decision. And that's all we're ever doing. We're like always just making decisions. Dude, what amazing advice that is. Like, yeah, I feel like more puzzle pieces slipping in. Shannon says, yes, I did the same thing growing up. I'd eat and eat and eat till I'd literally be up a night throwing up because I'd had to eat too much. And then I'd feel awful about myself. I also weighed 220 pounds. Like, why do we do that to ourselves, Shannon? And I feel, it's part of us. And now understanding this guilt, understanding this, unrepresented or maybe lower vibrating sacral, thinking of myself as a child, thinking of what I was going through, thinking of the lack of emotional expression that I was experiencing and where I was just eating my emotions. I guess that's what we did it, right? Like it gives us an experience, it gives us something tangible in a moment that allows us to feel. And we can feel by expressing, we can feel by painting, we can feel by having conversations, we can feel by having sex, we can feel in so many different ways. And food is something that we can kind of give ourselves to, right? Give ourselves, if you will as well. I'm happy that you found balance as well in that, Shannon. Goodness. It's just about awareness. Every single time. It's just about being aware of the things we do to ourselves. We talk about life just being experimenting on ourselves, and I find that sticking with the choice allows me to feel how I feel after I follow through. And the thing is, like I'm thinking about Sinsene's book. Sinsane talks about opening doors or going through doors. And by going through one door, you inevitably don't go through other doors. But by making the choice to go through that door, you're going to experience what's on the other side of that door. And feeling, again, it's not about feeling one way or another, it's about feeling. So no matter what choice you make, you're going to feel something. So make the choice and feel what you're going to feel. That's what you're supposed to do. If the experience left me feeling negative or did not serve me, the next time I decide to do less or just say no, how does that make me feel? I'd rather evaluate than guilt. Goodness, dude, you're giving such amazing advice today, Isaac. That's amazing, dude, genuinely. So, like, after you've made the decision, after you've walked through that door and you got a bunch of shit thrown at you, you're like, oh, goodness, maybe I'm not gonna walk through that door that much. Maybe I'm gonna be walking through that door in moderation. After having made the choice, evaluate instead of guilting yourself. Thank you, dude. Thank you, universe. Thank you, universe, for giving me the answers. At least giving me the perspective. Let's not say answers. Perspective. I appreciate that so much, Isaac. I do have to read these comments as well. Here's another one of yours. Yes, girl. This. I'm so happy you know that. I wish I could live into it fully sometimes. I truly believe it's just find myself trying to get it all done. I'll be gone before I do. So why don't I just enjoy it? I agree completely, Isaac. Kay, joining us as well, beloved sister. So nice to have you here. Thank you for joining us. Is this stream really breaking up just me? Might be a reboot. Like our internet was a little bit wacky as I started. I'm so sorry, friends. Like I'm missing some of the YouTube or the Reddit comments as well. I'm missing on YouTube or chatting here, listening on YouTube. I hope it's a little bit better. The YouTube should be a lot more stable. And soon, I'm still waiting for it to get into stock again. Like I want to get myself decent microphones. Then we're gonna have crisp audio, no wind noise. You'll be able to hear my voice pretty clearly. I hope at least. Exactly. I'm really trying to accomplish some life-changing stuff, but realistically, it's going to be another year before I've achieved what I want. I'm not going to be miserable for an entire year until it happens. Gotta find joy in the journey, and you are. From what I've seen, not only do you find joy in the journey, but you're such a beautiful example as to how that journey goes. I hope you're getting better, my friend. How are you feeling today, Eden? Are you still sick? And if you'd be willing to share with us, what is your year plan looking like? Stream is really breaking up for me too. Yeah, like you know what? I'm not even gonna say it. I think something, but I'm not gonna say it. Okay, maybe guilt. Is our consciousness keeping us from ruining our experience with too much indulgence? It's natural and usually not there unless we are being hindered. But given our society, we have so much pressure and our minds are like, do it all. Exactly. Not only that, but there is so much in our world telling us to do things. I don't know if that's exactly what you meant, but the world is telling you to do these things as well. Sugars are highly addictive and we get addicted to them. And, if you're selling sugar, be it with Pop Tarts or lollipops or gummy worms, whatever it is you're selling, if it has sugar in it, you want people to be addicted to your sugar. Ahoy to you! Sinsane! I was just talking about you, Brother Bear. I was talking about guilt and talking about, what you were mentioning about once you go through a door, you kind of close other doors to yourself. But instead of, ruining your own experience, guilting yourself for not going through the other door, you get to experience what the door you chose has for you to have. Like you get to evaluate, oh, I've walked through this door, I experienced this as a result of that, and you can kind of take into consideration the next door you're gonna walk through instead of guilting yourself for walking through one door or another, Brother Bear. Your wisdom is flowing through me as well. It's insane. It's nice to have you here, Brother Bear. I'll do it. Yeah, stream's janky today. The streams have been janky, and on top of them having been janky, they're also extremely, let's just say, downregulated. Mariah saying, strange you say these things. I feel an immense amount of guilt and anxiety coming to these streams anymore. I think it's my time management. I'm not utilizing it appropriately. Mariah, you're not the only one, friend. A lot of our friends are no longer showing up in the stream. And I think it might be just that. Like it might just be that of time management, of feeling like we need to be doing something else. And the way that I envision these streams, at least, you know, my idealized brain likes to envision it this way, is for us to be able to be creative in the stream. Like you can put the stream on and you can listen and you could draw something. You could, make something with your hands, be creative while you're listening, instead of feeling like you just have to give your full attention to this space. But I don't know, Mariah. It's all, it's all love. Walking through doors, like, and I understand. I do understand that this is a lot of time that we spend with one another sometimes. And not of all of us can give that time. And I appreciate you, friends, so much for giving me your time as I'm trying to give you my time as well. But I do understand. I mean, I do it every day. It takes a lot out of me. So I can't even imagine how much it must take out of you, friends, as well. I'm thinking specifically about Jovan. Jovan, I think, has been here for like 95% of the streams ever since she started tuning in. And, I appreciate that so deeply in my heart that I cannot even express to her how valuable that is to me. And I cannot expect that. I cannot expect that. And the fact that she's willing to, it boggles my mind. I love you so much, friends. Thank you for being here with me, genuinely. I look to nature for guidance in things like this. Do animals ever stop laying in the sun because they could be foraging? No. They begin foraging when they feel hungry. They listen rather than control. Goodness, what a good point that is as well. Isaac, you're like absolutely melting my brain today, Brother Bear. You know what? You know what? Like, how about you come and sit, sit right here, and I'm gonna go have some. I'm joking, Isaac. I'm genuinely serious though. Like, I feel like you're my teacher today, Brother Bear. Yo, because that's exactly what I was going through yesterday as well. The animal inside of me was telling me to do something, but the part of myself, the mental part of myself, was trying to control, was trying to be rigid in my decisions, and I allowed myself, by freeing myself from guilt, to actually get to have that experience, to have that pleasurable experience. I'm also on a tea break, so everything feels like extra angsty. Oh yeah, that happens, Mariah. I'm so happy that you're, trying to, at least taking a break, even if it's a few days, just giving yourself that variation, a little bit of an ebb and flow, that neuroplasticity. I envy Joe, but I haven't been using Reddit much lately, though I believe it's a healthy break. It's insane. You're doing so fine, Brother Bear. Like, she's, at least from what I've seen, Jovan has been this beautiful person, like, since day one. Like, ever since, she started tuning in. Like, the first photo she shared was with Zanderberg, and seeing her, seeing this bird, seeing the relationship they had with one another, I instantly knew absolutely divine being. And she's been such a supportive part of this journey. She's been so loving. I cannot thank you enough, Jovan. I love you to bits. I love you to bits. And I've seen her grow. I've seen her grow. I've seen her strengthen her relationships with her family members, with her friends. I've heard so much from her experience, and she shared so much of her divinity with me that she's an integral part of my heart right now. You know, the fractal that is Melkmore, like a big part of that fractal is Jovan as well. So thank you, friend. I'll never forget, you know, that genuinely. I cannot. Streams janky today. Breaths. Be patient, Eden. Be patient. Like the YouTube should be a little bit more stable, and we are under a roof, so it might have no wind noise. Might. You might win $1 million if you hit the upvote button. You might. You could. Yeah, you could. Who knows? Absolutely. If we get healthy, whether that means diet, mental health, physical, great. But if we lose happiness in the process, all we've got, all we've done is gotten one step further away from the truth. You're so right on that as well, Isaac. And I'm feeling healthy. You know, I'm feeling better than I ever have in my entire life, genuinely. And I think it's partly the yoga. It's partly not eating vegetable oils anymore. It's partly cutting my calories extremely and losing a lot of weight, so I'm a lot lighter, a little bit more agile. Partly because I'm gaining a certain aesthetic physique again. Partly because I have less to feel guilty about. You know, because I'm taking these things into consideration, because I'm doing these things, the things that I usually would guilt myself about, I no longer have the ability to because I cannot, you know, I cannot guilt myself about not exercising because I am exercising, you know, and I feel like that is also something that is serving me to use the guilt as a direction, you know, to start doing things to take that guilt away from myself. Mm, Speaking of Jovan, I wonder whatever happened to the canvas. I haven't asked her directly though. I'm also not sure. Like, Giovanni, if you'd be willing to tell us, you're being very kind, Mel. I'm so glad that these words in me can resonate. This is definitely an area I've struggled heavily with in my life, so I'm glad to help anyone else with it. And that's what we're doing, Dr. Bay. That's what we're doing. You know, I'm more than willing to admit that I do not have all the answers. How could I? I'm just one person. But I don't have to have all of the answers because we're not alone. We're not alone. We have one another to give us insight, to give us perspective. And, you know, if you never came into my life, how long, how much more would I have struggled with this feeling of guilt? Like thinking about making concrete decisions now, going through doors and evaluating what I experienced the other side of them, instead of guilting myself afterwards. Like just that in my mind right now, as such a safe place. Like it feels like a warm fractal, if that makes any sense. Thank you, genuinely, brother. Although I'm going to the YouTube, sorry, I can't respond to the Reddit friends. No, it's okay. Thank you, Isaac, for being here. Hello to you, Dank Boy. Thank you for joining us. I hope it's not too bad. Never feel guilty for having fun. I won't. I won't, Natalie. I do sometimes. But I won't! The Dharma is unknowable. I vow to know it. It's quite a little bit less choppy on the YouTube. Thank you, Jovan. Love LSD. It can help, you know, it can help if done with the right intentions. Have you considered bone broth? I actually do bone broth, like a lot. Unfortunately, the bone broth that I make has like I put vegetables in my bone broth as well, and I don't know if the like vegetable sugars kind of leach into the bone broth. But I have like frozen bone broth, so I make like bone broth once a week, and then I freeze them in these little bowls. And then when I make myself a meal, I add some bone broth to that because it's good for your brain apparently. And yeah, I completely agree. Like during the fast to keep you going. I know a lot of people do that to get some energy without really breaking fast. I do want to do that a little bit more. I think next time I make myself some bone broth, I'm probably going to not use any vegetables. Like the thing is as well, I still feel good. You know, like having gone 4 days of not eating, most of the health benefits happen in those first 4 days. You know, like depleting your glycogen and then going 24 hours after that. That is where you get most of your health benefits. The health benefits kind of peak at the 7 day mark, and then you get like diminishing returns as you go longer and longer because your body gets under stress. So the good stuff was gotten, like that doesn't stop. And I'm still going to go for another, like today is Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then Sunday. Either I'll break it on Sunday, or I'll wait the entire Sunday and we break it on Monday. But it's all about balance. It's about that balance. And if I feel, in this process of getting towards Sunday that I've depleted myself and that I need to refuel, then I will do that again. But I'm not gonna guilt myself. I look at it like this. Will this piece of lasagna help me achieve my overall goal? If I break the fast for one piece of lasagna to complete the week, then what's the harm? It's better to fast for a week with having a piece of lasagna along the way versus not. And that's what I'm doing to myself as well, Ninja Peach. That's the mindset I'm going into. Thank you so much for sharing the same. A111 says it's about balance and moderation. Exactly that, friend. It's also up to you. You do what you feel. The human experience, we need to experience from all perspectives. Perfectly, beautiful point. I enjoy the lasagna. It's good. Exactly. Thank you, Tony. Thank you for sharing your wisdom as well, friend. I really appreciate that. For mirroring, the stuff that we have in our hearts. Can't undo what's done. Only move forward and learn. Exactly that. Pondering this topic today, guilt pays visits often. Often, when I don't meet my own expectations and in fear of meeting others' expectations, but reflecting on past topics, realizing that guilt is putting energy and awareness on regret, it inspires me to instead realize that regret is a result of love and shift that energy towards building the present and future. Goodness, Javan, exactly, exactly that. Creating structure in our lives, in our present, for our futures, using guilt as an informer instead of using it as something that takes away from our experience. Thank you, my friend, for sharing that genuinely. With the new Reddit update, I don't know how to get RPAN live anymore. I'm gonna switch to YouTube because this is lagging. Yeah, RPAN has been getting spicier and spicier over the last week. I feel, yesterday as well, talking about the root chakra, like the streams over the last week have done worse than they've done since the very start. Like literally since day one, they've never done worse than they're doing right now. And I was like thinking about that. I was like, huh, isn't that neat? Isn't that an experience? And I was like getting myself into this mindset of why is that? And then while going through this root chakra as well, I just kind of chalked it up to, oh, maybe I feel I need to be rooted, I need to be stable in a certain pattern of happening, with these dreams. And having that pattern taken away from me allows me to gain even more stability within myself without needing that external validation or approval or numbers. And I completely chalked it up to the universe being divine. I'm like, okay, sick universe. If you say so, I'm here to learn. Exactly what we focus on becomes a reality. That it does. Oh goodness. Wait a second. Off topic. Whoa, whoa, whoa. There we go. Off topic. But when I'm talking about feeling healthy, I've now introduced weighted squats and shoulder presses for my daily exercise, shredding my bod, but feeling so good. Brother Bear, like I was thinking about that today, doing push-ups as well. I was just thinking, with the amount of intensity that you're putting your body through, you're going to be, absolutely jacked by the end of this year if you continue this way. And being jacked, can be, a vain thing, if you will. But instead of thinking of it as vain, think of it as your mentality, your understanding of self is so aligned with what you want to be, with what you want to do, that your body represents what's going on inside of your head. Because it is work. You have to commit. You have to, do the work. Like you cannot, like in a game, do 10 push-ups and then, gain X amount of muscle and then keep that X amount of muscle indefinitely. That's just not how it works. So by putting in the work, you're basically showing on a very physical level, expressing into this physical universe what's going on inside your head. Oh goodness, I'm relating back to the mountain topic again. Would you walk halfway up a path, feel bad when you didn't take it, go back down the path to try another, only to switch again? No, that's silly. We take the path we take, If we want to experience another, we can after. I'm not going to climb halfway up a rock wall only to waste the energy I put in to go backwards. No, thank you. No, thank you indeed. Today's stream is hitting me really hard. We love you, Shannon. We love you so much, my friend. We're worthy of feeling these things, and guilt is not something that serves us. We serve ourselves. We serve ourselves. Guilt, if anything, can just allow us to see where we can serve ourselves more, better. Thank you, Shannon, for being here. Like, I cannot tell you how much I've been appreciating your presence as well. You've been so consistent. I love you to bits. Thank you for learning with us, for feeling with us. Exactly. Focus on becomes a reality. My mom is the queen of showing love with food. Now I've learned that I can show myself love by not having food. It's been a full cycle. It was hard to break, but I found it doesn't serve me to love myself by indulging in food. Patterns, belief systems. Thank you, Eden, for being so vulnerable and open with us and for sharing your truth. I appreciate you. My mom was the same, and I'm like I resonate with you so much in that because my mom's love language was also food as a kid growing up. And like even though I was having meals, I would still kind of try and get that love from the food, by having handfuls of cookies. So I'm there with you, Eden. I'm also going through that same process. Go to popular and enter Reddit live to the top stream and then scroll as usual. Took me a week to figure it out. Yeah, I've noted that. Michelle, yeah. I'm not gonna complain. We're not complaining anymore. I feel a little tinge of guilt, maybe more FOMO when I miss the stream. This is food, and I need to be late sometimes and ingest this. Thank you, Mel. Michelle, thank you, friend. Like it's interesting. It's interesting how we have these balances where some friends feel so bad for not being here. But I know we all live infinite lives. And even if you are in this space and you get to receive the information flowing from this space in this moment, then you're here to receive the informational flow in this moment. But if you're not in this moment, you're out there in the infinity, receiving the informational flow from the infinity. And if you're just willing to stay aware, if you're willing to bring your awareness here, you have that as well. But if you're willing to stay aware in your day to day experience, you're going to learn things. And your experience is divine. And if you come back and you're willing to share some of that experience with me, then we can learn together in that way. We love you, Shell. Michelle. Corey and I are trying to buy a house. It's been hard because they're so ridiculously expensive right now. Like literally criminally expensive right now. You're so right, Eden. So we've had to try and prioritize what's important money-wise and make some cuts. But it's pushed me to find joy without money. I had to. Like that was basically what my entire last year was about as well. Eden, and thank you for sharing that. Like not having a single dollar to spend. Last year, I went to Christian's and I tell Christian, hey dude, I would like to come over, but you do realize I don't have money. You know that. And he's like, yeah, it's fine, I'll buy you food. And he did. Christian paid for my food and everything. And I'm going through in July again. July, maybe June, July again. And he's willing to do the same. Like he loves me to bits and I love him to bits and he's willing to do that for me to be there. But it was such a change in my own epigenetic code to be willing to receive. To be willing to receive from the world, to believe that I'm worthy of receiving from the world. And it was like basically Christian was the jolt I needed to be willing to receive in this year as well. Like we're literally constantly evolving and being able to evolve in that way, Ninja Peach, being able to enjoy things, to enjoy life with less, has been a big, big, big part of my process as well. Thank you for sharing that with us. Kira Burb! Kira Burb, so much love to you, my friend. Thank you for joining us. Wow, I never use r/popular. What's worse is that when I click on your reply and notifications, it also does not open the stream. Yeah, Mine does the exact same, Sensane. I don't know why they did that. I think they did it to the streamers for some reason, where, us streamers no longer have the ability to click on our usernames and go to the stream that we're being tagged in. And it makes me so viscerally angry because I'll see people tagging me in streams and then I'll click on it and then it takes me to a black page. And then I have to like go back completely to get out of that black page to get back into Reddit. And I'm like, dude, I could be spending time with loving friends who want me in a space with them, and now you're not allowing me to do this. Was that a complaint? Reddit is amazing. Stay positive. What's worse? My words escape me. Have emojis, all the emojis. Love, 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 love. Your is like, oh, melting. We love you to bits. Siobhan, thank you for the love as well. It's insane. Heather, love the title. I love you. Yes! Look who it is! It's freaking Cable himself. As I drop some poetries. You have to be a nun. Yes, Melt, you have to be a nun. Shave your head. Never have fun. No smiles. But I'm just messing, Mel. Can be the best thing we can be is ourselves. Thank you for the love. Thank you for reading the title and for resonating with some of that poetry, Cable. If there was anyone that I wanted to see that title, it was you. Like as I was typing it, I was like, I hope Cable tunes in and like actually sees the title. It's so nice to have you here. I hear your name in my mind, like the old Sega startup tune. Cable! Like that? I don't know. Sega! Cable! Maybe. Sing. You know I'm Mr. Bombastic. No, what have you done? No intention. How dare you? I have the Sonic music in my head. I honestly mean this as a compliment, so here it goes. You look like the dreamy hippie guy that gets the girl at the end of the movie and nobody saw it coming. Thank you, friend. Thank you so much. Yesterday, as we were talking about the sacral chakra, we had to write our own affirmation as well. And the affirmation that I was writing for myself is that I am worthy of a divine life partner. So thank you, friend. Hopefully, at the end of the story, at the end of the movie, I'll get the girl. Cheers. Thank you for your manifestation, friend. Marjan! Oh, it's so nice to have you here, friend. I've missed you to bits, but I have to end the stream. I have to end the stream now. I have to read, our beloved Kira's message first. That worked. Good notification clicked and landed here on my phone. This is a laptop. Okay. Notification clicked and landed here on my phone. So it worked for you at least, Shell. And you're also streaming, so maybe it's not just the streamers. The Space Rock Bear and I are no longer in one another's lives in any capacity. My grasp on reality is really screwed right now. I love you, Estian. Thanks for the medicine of the stream. And you, Kira Burb. Today's stream was about guilt. And I, would never tell you how to feel. But the first thing that comes to my mind is that you don't deserve to feel guilty about that separation, from Space Rock Bear. Like it's been a journey and you got to learn and you got to feel, you got to walk through that door and you got to evaluate what that means to you. No guilt. You don't deserve to feel guilty, friend. You had an experience. You chose that experience and it was a divine one. I love and appreciate you, my friend. Thank you for being willing to reach out and to share that with us. Time warning, nag, nag, nag. Yeah, I'm like looking as well. I'm gonna finish these comments and then I'm gonna go and, join my class. Sip tea with me, be grounded for a little bit. Earl Grey, please, 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 Michelle, genuinely, please reach out to our Kira Burp. I won't be able to do that right now, but please do. Yes, there we go. Thank you, Kira. Thank you, divine friend, for taking that offer. Drink some tea together, have a conversation, talk about the doors we walk through, talk about what we've evaluated from it. Have a good evening and have a good day. Lisa, you too, my friend. Thank you. Yes, please. Should I add what I've been onto these past 2 years on my resume or keep it blank from 2020? Why would you not add that? Dude, like that's amazing. Like share that you created or joined a community, and that you shared smiles with millions of people. Millions! It's insane. Not just a few people. Oh, I went to this place and people smiled. Millions! Millions of smiles, Insane. How could you not put that on your resume? You know, show people that you were willing to show up, that you were willing to put yourself out there in the world. And as you were going through this process, you thought about doing life coaching and you thought about writing a book and you wrote the book. So Insane is like, maybe I should just leave it blank, you know. Oh, I have all of this giga amazing experience, but how about nudge, nudge, poke, pokes. That's insane. I love you, brother bear. You're a fantastic human being, dude. Why would you not share that? Add it and have that be one version. I have many versions of my resume. Like, I think it's fantastic. So much love to you, Estian. So much love to you from me and my family in California. I'll be coming to California at some point, Shell. California is definitely, you know, somewhere I want to be. Just like having met the people that I'm doing yoga with, I'm like, yeah, California seems to have some lit people. I mean, you're there, Michelle. Obviously, it has some lit people. Lamar, thank you. Lamar, you. I hope you're actually laughing, Sensei. Thank you, my beloved friends. I appreciate you sharing this space with me today. I love and appreciate you more than I can say, and I'll keep showing up to tell you how much I love and appreciate you more than I can say. I'll keep showing up. Infinity. Yeah, we are the Infinity Friends. I'll see you again tomorrow. Goodbye, everyone. Goodbye, my friends.